Chattr Live is it's a live feedback website. So the point is to have a place where during a presentation, if you want to get feedback from your audience, you have a way to do that from a relatively small audience scaling up to, dozens, hundreds, thousands of people in the audience.
What type of use did you envision?
I'd been using some other tools. Poll Everywhere is one that I've used in the past, and I got kind of tired of the limitations of the software. It didn't work quite the way that I wanted, and it was really expensive. Mm-hmm. And I thought, I think I could build a tool that better fits exactly what I'm looking for in terms of getting feedback from my students in a classroom. You get questions from the same 5, maybe 10 students.
Right.
They're not the only ones who have questions. They're just the only ones who are willing to speak up and ask them.
Yeah.
And so creating a way for them to anonymously ask the questions that they have was really the goal. To give them a way to do.
And so for the classroom, that's great. I'm thinking I'm doing a presentation at a conference in a little bit. I'll probably use it. That's but
absolutely.
Otherwise, just to get engagement from people who wouldn't participate.
Right.
So compared to something like Poll Everywhere or some other tools that are out there, what was it missing that you created here?
So being even more real time was a big part of it. There's just some limitations in those tools for the open-ended questions specifically, which is what I really wanted to be able to do, is have people ask any question that they wanted of me and have a way for me to address that to the whole audience. Poll Everywhere has that capability. It was slow, it was clunky, it broke a lot, and I wanted to do something better.
Okay, and we'll include some video here, but you can see it's just comments popping up as people make them, right?
Right, exactly. So as soon as someone asks a question, it shows up on the screen in front of everybody. It shows up on everybody who's joined the call or the conference. And they're able to vote. They're able to vote on questions as well. So if you want to gather a bunch of questions from your audience and then answer the most pressing or the most highly desired questions, you can wait for people to vote on those and order them in that way too.
Yeah, and I like the transparency of it and the anonymity. People don't have to set up accounts, right?
Right. So you have the option as the person running the meeting. You have the option of requiring people to log in which case you can track who's there if you want to use it for attendance, or if you want to use it. It has, in addition to the open-ended questions, it has multiple choice questions, and you can have those be used as a polling tool. So to get feedback on whatever's going on, or you can use it as a quiz in class, and you can use it to assess people's understanding, and then afterwards go back and actually provide a grade with that, or just use it as an attendance, or use it completely anonymously.
Well, and another reason for the login would be you have to know your audience, but you're allowing anyone to put something up on the screen, right?
Right,
so,
absolutely.
And a large, unshepherded
yes.
group, you might not want to do that.
Yeah. We don't currently have any moderation tools, except the presenter can click and delete things, and you can actually add a TA to a meeting as well, and they can have permission to do that.
Okay.
But it's still showing up on the board, at least for a little while. So.
Okay. Great. So we're going to put a link to this in the show notes, and I'll post it on LinkedIn as well. If someone starts with the tool, if they just visit the website, how hard is it to get started?
It's super easy. So make an account, you click the host a meeting, you basically create the URL that people are going to visit. We call that the slug. That's the part of the URL that is unique to you. And then you create the questions that you want to use and start the meeting, and you could just pull it up on the screen. The QR code is shown on the screen for the presenter. So if you show that on the screen, then everybody in the audience could pull out their phones and log in and join the meeting.
Okay, great. And you mentioned calls. So can you do this on Zoom or other Teams or whatever?
Yeah, anywhere you've got a screen that you can share, or a way to share the URL, you can share that with anybody.
Okay, terrific. So I'm thinking of other uses. Obviously, Zoom calls, all kinds of business meetings. What uses have you envisioned?
Anywhere you've got an audience that you want to get feedback from. So lessons in class, lessons at church, lessons anywhere that you've got people that you want to ask questions of, or you want people to ask you questions. Let's say one of the things that I thought of recently, I was in a big meeting. There were probably 1,000 people in the audience. It was a big keynote panel speech thing, and they had curated questions from the audience, but there was no way for me to know when I asked a question whether it was going to be answered or just disappear into the internet, never to be seen again. And it would be nice, it would be, helpful for me as an audience member to see, hey, here's the questions that are up there. Could I provide some feedback on those questions? What do I want? Again, providing that upvoting to say, hey, this is a question that I would also like answered of this panel of really awesome people.
Interesting. Oh, that'd be so useful. So recently in March, I was at Autumn Art Industry speaking at the national conference there. We had a panel. And so I was trying to figure out how to do this. So I had people live, like connecting to me on LinkedIn and then posting comments through LinkedIn because that was the best thing I could do.
Right.
Do you see people using workarounds like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that kind of stuff, a shared Google Doc, a Google form, a Qualtrics, like a million other ways to get to a worse version of this exact functionality.
Yeah, exactly. But right now it's free, so someone could just go to the website and might as well try it out.
Right.
And then what are your plans? Do you have plans for future development, or where do you see it going?
I have more ideas than I have time to implement these ideas.
Well, you're well beyond minimum viable product level, so
right.
It's
useful today. We were talking. Wanted to provide a way for people to comment on questions.
Oh yeah.
So anybody can post a question, but also allow audience members to, maybe add a clarifying something to the question or add something else or to answer the question. If it's in a class and, there might be 20 questions up on the board and I only have time to answer 3 of them, to allow other people in the class to write out an answer to those questions would be a great additional functionality and a way to help the students learn by teaching each other.
Exactly. In class, so you're using this in class, right?
Yes, I've used it.
How do you find yourself using it? Like, because you could use it for like games or activities, or it could just be more like quizzes. What do you actually do with it?
Yeah, I use it more at the beginning and end of class. So at the beginning of class, we'll do a little bit of priming activity, kind of set the stage for what we're going to talk about that day. And then I'll say, hey, what do you want to know? What questions do you have about the stuff that you read, the stuff that you watched, the topics that we have for today? So I kind of teach in a flipped classroom, kind of.
That's great.
So they have videos and things to watch before they come to class.
Mm-hmm.
I want to start off class and answer their questions. I assume that they have watched the videos, and I've provided quizzes and incentives for them to watch the videos. And then to say, what do you want to know? And then we'll go through and talk about things, maybe do some activities. And then at the end of class, I usually leave a few minutes at the end of class to once again ask, what about today made sense, didn't make sense? How can we reach you where you're at and help improve your understanding?
There are things like Kahoot out there that are kind of like this, but they're more geared towards games and fun things.
Yeah.
Does this compete with those? Could you do the same sorts of things?
You can-ish. I used Kahoot a lot this last year, and I will probably use Kahoot again this next year. I think it fills a different part of the tool set, because it's more of a game, but it's also very like dedicated quiz time.
Yeah.
So for the when you start a Kahoot, usually, at least when I've done it, it's the next 15-20 minutes are Kahoot time. We're going to be going through these questions. Maybe we'll talk about 1 or 2 or, talk about the answers to some of them. But then, we're kind of really on that. Where I see Chattr Live filling in is a little bit more kind of sprinkled throughout. So maybe you've got questions at the beginning and then you talk for a little bit, you do an activity, whatever, and then you can throw up a single multiple choice question or a single clarifying, like, what are your questions? Or, like very, very targeted individual questions rather than it being like a dedicated time for that.
Yeah. Okay. So it is very focused on feedback from an audience.
Right.
People who would otherwise be intimidated by it.
Right. And it's super quick to get in.
Yeah.
I like Kahoot where you have to wait for everybody to log in. It's a whole process of waiting for everybody to start and pick their avatars and set up their names and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Chattr Live is scan a QR code, boom, you're in.
Yeah, and people totally know how to do that. So great. So try out Chattr Live. It'll take 2 minutes. Go to the link and give it a shot. Use it in your next PowerPoint or whatever you're doing.
Yeah.